From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
Welcome into Campo's Corner here on The Horse's Mouth. Of course, the Tommy Max at my bar and brought to you by our good friends at the Heritage Capital Group and at Dasher. Great to have both of them on board. So Campo's Corner means only one thing. Coach Dave Campo's here back at the bar. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, Tom.
Always
How you
a
doing?
pleasure, my friend.
Same.
Oh, so here we are in the middle of the playoffs, right? The wild card weekend. Not too many close games until maybe the last game, but look, you win, you advance, and now it's the divisional playoff round. Talk about the stakes as a coach. Talk about the stakes as a head coach. When you know how important it is. And one loss, forget about it, you're going home. But you win, you got another chance to play towards that Super Bowl.
Absolutely. And in the NFL, there's only one prize, and that's the Super Bowl.
That's
and
right.
unfortunately, there's only one team out of the 32 that get there. And it's interesting because the wild card games, you don't know what's going to happen. Usually the underdog team has a great chance there because, you have a tendency to take some teams for granted. Once you get to this stage, the divisional game, I don't think Green Bay is going to surprise San Francisco.
No, right.
They know who they're playing against and the whole thing. So, obviously an underdog team can always win because the game is, is even Steven when you get to this point. But in reality, I expect the favorites to have a pretty good chance in this round.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, look, the Ravens and the 49ers both had a week off, but I just feel like they're going to be ready. Like, I think their coaches get them ready, especially Harbaugh. John Harbaugh, to me, all the years he's been here, 13 years? It's the same team. Physical, well-coached, pretty disciplined, hit hard, all that stuff. Seems no matter who the players are, that's the kind of team he puts out.
Well, one of the things I think people underestimate, especially owners, is how a special teams coach can be successful in this league as a head coach, because other than the head coach, the special teams coach talks to 90% of the team.
Wow. Yeah,
so,
right.
The defensive coordinator's got his defensive group, the offensive coordinator, but the special teams coach really is the head coach of a bunch of different things that are involved in the game of football. And that, the other thing with what we're talking about with the bye, sometimes the bye, you can say, well, they're a little rusty. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I don't look at it that way because during the Super Bowl years for us with the Cowboys, we always had a bye.
Right.
So my focus is I know who we're playing. And I'm focused into that.
You got to have the right makeup of your team to handle a bye, though.
Absolutely. That's true. Yes.
I mean, because you can't just rest on your laurels. You can't just sit around. You got to work extra hard to get ready because you're not experiencing game speed. You can't do it in practice. So the games, so I'm always a fan of those wild card teams that advance, especially the ones that kind of snuck in there, but they get some momentum, like Tampa. Tampa reminds me of our 96 team a little bit, just in the fact that they finish strong, and then they go into the playoffs and they surprise some people, and now they're feeling what? Confident. And that's what you need out of a playoff team. I don't care what their record was during the year. You got to have that ultimate confidence that you can go into any stadium and beat any team that you're playing there.
Yeah, it really matters how you finish the regular season. If you finish it with momentum and you're confident, you got a great shot. And the one thing about Tampa, I know Todd Bowles very well. He worked for me. The head coach at Tampa worked for me at Cleveland. He was the corner coach when I was a coordinator there. Todd is one of those guys. He's a little bit like Doug Peterson from the standpoint that he's very even-keeled. And the head coach's message has got to be consistent all the time, and it's got to be who you are. The one thing about Todd Bowles, though, is I know some of the assistants on that staff, and he's put together a tremendous group of assistant coaches who really do all the work. And I think they've got a shot. They've got a guy, Mayfield, the quarterback that's got something to prove. And so he made a statement the other day, which I thought was pretty interesting. He said about when he went one place, they told him to tamp down the swagger. When he first was at Cleveland. And then he goes to wherever he went,
Carolina,
LA.
Yeah, Carolina.
When he went to LA, they said, hey, look, get the swagger back. He said, now I got the swagger, and I think that's important.
Well, swagger means confidence.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And the quarterback
No
needs to be ultra confident in his abilities to lead the team to victory,
right.
no matter what.
Right, and I think that bodes leadership. You know, when you feel pretty good about what you're doing and you know you can get it done and you prove it, you're a leader.
Okay, so talking about leadership, let's look at our Jags and the way they finished. Let's look at Philadelphia and the way they finished. Philadelphia 10-1 to be out of the playoffs, dropping the last 6 out of 7. How does that happen, Coach? And I know a lot of people, including here in Jacksonville, want heads to roll. Coaches, more specifically, not the players. I know that it's a combination, but at the end of the day, are the players doing enough? You know what I mean? You made a comment off the air about there might be something going on in the locker room that we don't know about.
Right, and I think that's a big part of it, because usually when guys are not in the right gaps, they're missing coverage. Tackles, they're busting coverages. Usually there's an issue in the locker room, because it's somebody. I always listen to Leon. I love Leon Searcy. You know, and Leon talks about, hey, you know, somebody's got to step in there and straighten this stuff out. And that's true. You got to have somebody in that locker room. And when it struggles like that, guys are doing their own thing.
Okay, tackling has been an issue. I'm not even a Philly fan, and I was yelling at them over the TV.
Absolutely,
like,
I was as well.
Like, how do you not make tackles, like normal, regular tackles that you're supposed to make?
Right.
So you go back to can't you practice tackling a little? Like, we always thudded. Did you guys thud?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, you fit, you hit, but you don't bring to the ground.
Right.
Today, they got those wheels they're thrown on. You're tackling some dummy. You're tackling some pad. You're not really fitting up.
Right.
And even when during practice, it's like they pretend to fit up, and then they almost like two-hand touch. Nobody's hitting, nobody's rapping. Can you thud in today's game? I guess during practice.
I mean, I think you should. I think you should. Absolutely.
You don't get hurt during thud. For the record out there, you do not get hurt during.
Yeah, and I'm old school. You know, and really the rules right now with the coaching rules, not the player rules, but the rules of you don't have as much time with the players, you don't have as much pads with the players during the season. That takes a toll at the end. And if you look at the fundamentals in football today as opposed to when you played, fundamentals were better when you played than they are today. And that's part of it. Yeah, because you practice it, you had time to do it. It was, more of an emphasis on it.
So just hypothetically, defense isn't making tackles. It's happening more than one game. The coaches aren't doing anything to rectify it. You're the head coach. What are you doing? Like, are you saying, hey, guys, you know what? We're going back to the fundamentals.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And the same thing goes if you're making a lot of mistakes, and I'm talking basically defense, but it's both.
It's both.
When you're making a lot of mistakes, what's the first thing you do? You simplify. You know, there's a reason that they're making a mistake.
Bring it down a little bit. So
and not so much if you're out of gaps, because now you're talking about the player trying to make plays when he shouldn't. Or
getting pushed out of the gap.
But busting a coverage or not being where you're supposed to be, that's something that has to preparation. It's sometimes it kind of multiplies itself. If you're really struggling and you're doing too much, you're adding to it by doing too much. And
so if you're the owner, now McCarthy's staying, so Jerry Jones is like, okay, he's not the problem. If you're the owner of the Eagles, like, can you let Sirianni go? I'd be shocked if he lets him go.
Yeah, I would be shocked.
Yeah, me too.
Especially since he went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's different. McCarthy is not. Now he's won one in another place, that puts him in a different category. But, I think it's very similar in Dallas to here.
Okay.
From the standpoint that Doug feels like he can fix the offense.
Right.
That's his strength. Okay, so somewhere along the line, something's going to change. He may take over the play calling. I don't know. But defensively, he didn't feel like they could fix what's going on over there, so they make a change. In Dallas, a guy goes 12-5, and the offense is rolling during those 12-5. it's going to be hard to fire him. But defensively, I think Quinn's going to get another job, and they're going to retool.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's the reason behind it. In Philly, I don't know what's going on because they just look like they weren't ready to play.
They got too many studs on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Bradbury was one of the top guys in the league, and he misses 2 or 3 tackles that were ridiculous.
Yeah, but you just can't have that. No doubt about it. All right, as we wrap up, do you have a team that you think's, if I gave you one team to pick, they're going to win this weekend in the divisional playoff round, who are you picking?
I'm going with Baltimore.
Okay.
And the reason for it is that quarterback is not only a good quarterback, but he's special.
He is very
And when
special.
you get special, no one can do what he does when he gets on the move. No other quarterback. You could say, well, this guy's a maneuverable quarterback.
Right. No.
He's not only a maneuverable quarterback, he's a dangerous quarterback.
Very. Yeah.
And so, to me, that's the guy that's good. They have the best
Stroud,
shot.
the young buck against Lamar.
That's going to be interesting. And I'll tell you what, Stroud has proven that he's got a chance to be a really good player.
I look at, as we wrap up, I look at Houston as this: right coach, right QB, right culture at the right time.
Exactly.
And that all comes together. You got something.
I agree. 100%.
Great to have you, my
man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Tom.
Campo's Corner. You're in the corner.
Hey, listen, I'm on the corner. I am the corner. It's fantastic, and I always enjoy it with you.
Yeah, me too, Coach. Can talk ball all day long with Coach Campo right here on the Horse's Mouth. Make sure you check out this conversation at the dailynewsnetwork.com website. You'll see this conversation and hundreds and hundreds of others. Till next time, y'all stay safe and be cool out there. We'll see you right here on the Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
The coach should be going to bed at night thinking about the athlete and how they're going to help that athlete improve. They shouldn't be worrying about how am I going to quantify their improvement, or am I going to have to keep up with all this information? Those things that are kind of background to the coach focusing there on the athlete. And so what Dasher does is it takes all those side things away, allowing the coach to focus then on the athlete.